Happy Friday, algoriters. Court is back in session. I'm Al Reynolds, and this is the Court of Public Opinion, and the docket is full. We're going to be talking about the school shooting where the father is arrested and charged with up to 100+ years. Then we're going to talk about Jeezy and Jeannie Mai's divorce update, followed by prosecutors want Alec Baldwin lawsuit. They want the lawsuit reinstated. And then we're going to close the night out with a special edition of Jennifer Williams and Christian Gold in court. That's right. And we have our one and only legal beagle, Symone Redwine, who's going to give us a live and in-person update of exactly everything that she witnessed in the courtroom today. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, don't forget to hit that share button. Turn on your notifications. And also jump in the comments. Only here in the Court of Public Opinion do you get live coverage of things happening in real time. All right, let's introduce our legal beagles. First up, we have that fiery civil attorney for Ladies' Night, the lovely counselor Chaton Turner. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. You're on mute.
Hey, yeah, sorry about being on mute. Hi, Al, Your Honor. Hi, algoritors. Got to take off.
Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion, Chaton. Next up, we have the roving reporter / lawyer, that spicy attorney, civil attorney, or we're going to call her entertainment attorney now, the one and only Symone Redwine. Symone Redwine, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion.
Thank you, guys. You can also catch me on my YouTube channel, which is called Girl, Is That Legal? Here on YouTube, where I've done more of an expose on this Jennifer Williams, Christian Gold love situation.
All right, everyone, you know, in the Court of Public Opinion, it's the place where you, the people's voice, can and will be heard. So jump in that chat if you have any questions as it relates to the legal issues that we are going to be discussing. All right, court is what? Now in session. First up, this school shooting is so disturbing. A 14-year-old young man went to school and shot a friend using the gun that his father purchased for him, only for his father to stand trial and convicted possibly for manslaughter for buying his son the gun and giving it to a 14-year-old, which in the state of Georgia is illegal. Attorney Chaton Turner, please share with us about this story. You're on mute. Please take yourself off mute.
Your Honor, you know what is ladies' night? I've been sipping some things, and so I did not comply with the rules. But as it relates to this story, you know, the tragedy is obvious. There are lives that have been lost, and our hearts go out to the victims. One of the things we wanted people to understand about this, especially the parents watching, is that you are responsible for the actions of your children to the extent that you are aware and you complied and were complicit in their actions. And so the lawsuit against his dad is this. He bought the gun for the child, and it was used in a crime. And because the son was not legally able to purchase the gun on his own behalf, and he is under 18, the criminal exposure flows to the son, and the potential civil liability, flows to the father, and the potential civil liability is going to flow to him as well.
Attorney Symone Redwine, talk to me, though, about this particular case, because I'm finding this super interesting that they are being very aggressive in holding this father responsible. In what case would the father, if the father did not purchase the gun, if the son stole the gun out of his father's house, out of his gun cabinet or whatever, would the violations and charges be as significant as they are now?
So the answer is, would they be as significant? No, because he's got, I think it's first and second degree murder. It wouldn't be those charges. There would be like involuntary. Oh, let's see, we've got second degree. The involuntary would still be there. The cruelty to children would likely also be there. Here's the thing. The model case where this approach was taken was the Crumbly case. That was the Michigan case where the two parents were charged and convicted.
Right.
or giving their son access. And the issue was because in that case, it wasn't an issue of the son being too young. Here, the law straight out says the son is 14, that's too young. There, the issue was you knew your son was a nut. We told you your son was a nut. The school called you and said he's a nut. The school called and said this nut is drawing things with pow-pows in it. And you ignored it. You didn't check his backpack, blah, blah, blah. You allowed it to happen. In other words, being negligent. Here's my concern about this approach is that I believe going forward, they're going to, instead of enacting gun control, they're going to simply charge the parents after the fact.
Right.
That is not going to prevent the deaths, but this prevents them from having to actually address gun control. So while it's good after the fact, it's a terrible gun control strategy.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the state of Georgia. They've always supported the purchasing and having of guns. They don't. You don't even have to have a license to carry in the state of Florida, in the state of Georgia. This is my concern, right? My concern is, number one, how does a 14-year-old get a shotgun in his backpack? It's a shotgun. Where is he concealing this when he's taking it into the school? Where is he hiding it until he meets the kid in the bathroom? Where does the school have any liability in this?
Well, it's a big backpack, most likely. Some of them are. This was not an urban school where they have metal detectors and they do searches of bags like at my daughter's school. So to your point, the question is going to be whether the standard in the industry would have required or mandated or suggested that the school should have had those kind of controls. And I believe you're going to find that probably not for that area. The issue about the parents, though, this is not like it's sensationalized because we're talking about gun control, but it's not a new concept that parents would be responsible for the actions of their minor children that they were complicit in. Like the fact that the dad purchased the gun and gave it to him is noteworthy. The case in Michigan where it's more of a vicarious liability case because of for the shooting actions, because they were aware that the child was drawing things and should have been dangerous, they're vicariously liable for the actions of the son in the shooting, but they're directly liable for their own negligence in failing to take action that would have gotten him to get the proper treatment. It's a really slippery slope going after parents for these actions, especially when you decide to try the child as an adult. And so I think that in this case, the dad may be able to tell the state, like, hey, you gotta choose. Like, is this a kid or is this an adult?
Got it. All right, Symone, if you were representing this father, what would be your arguments to the courts that these charges are just outrageous and should be reconsidered?
So I want to look at the law particularly, but usually shotguns for younger kids are permitted because in states like Georgia, they're considered used for hunting. So I would say, hey, my son and I bond over hunting. This state encourages families to hunt and to shoot for sport. This was not an assault weapon. This was not any of those things. So for this reason, it was not unreasonable of me to gift him what we would use.
Oh, okay. I like that. Chaton, you are a mother of three. What would be your argument for not being responsible for your child's behavior?
Oh, not being responsible. I would sidestep the issue of the gifting of the gun in the way that Attorney Redwine suggested. And I would also say that I had no indication that my child had the propensity to do something like this. It was not foreseeable. I had no actual notice. I had no constructive notice. And as a result, the actions of my child should be independent of me and they should be responsible for them.
Okay, let's play the opposite of this really quickly, only because we're talking about the death of another kid. And I can only imagine that family is devastated. Let's start with you, Attorney Symone Redwine. Talk to me about what would be your argument to throw the book at this dad.
It would be the fact that you are responsible for your child such that, giving them access to a weapon like this, it's one thing to give them the gun, but to give them also the ammunition. Also, I would argue that you were aware that he was having issues at school. Yeah, you were aware he was having issues at school. You were aware that he was having aggression issues, and a variety of those things. So as a result, you have a responsibility as an adult to monitor your child, but also to protect others and the public.
Love it. Attorney Turner, what would be your argument?
Well, and I think to build upon what Attorney Redwine was saying, it is noteworthy that this kid was 14. This child could not even lawfully drive a car. And so to give this child a lethal weapon for any purpose just indicates a total lack of judgment on the father's part. And what was foreseeable is that the child would do something that was dangerous and reckless because the child lacked the ability to make decisions related to carrying a lethal weapon.
Absolutely. I think you're right. We want to send our hearts, love, and condolences to the young man's family and the young man that was caught on the other side of this gun. We wish you all the best, and our prayers are going up for you. All right, let's move on, everybody. Don't want Friday ladies' night to be too heavy. Let's get on down here in the mess. All right, Jeezy, you're back in the court of public opinion because Jeannie Mai is not laying down on this. Not only is she claiming you've not honored anything with your divorce decree, but she's saying, how could you actually ask for child custody when you won't even pay for the daycare? You won't even pay for your child's school tuition. You won't even turn over the title for the car so that she can get the child to and from school. And lastly, you haven't paid the $500 that the court has ordered you to pay. Attorney Redwine, what is going on with Jeezy? And even though I was 50-50 on this fence, because, I believe in Black love, and I believe that someone as successful as Jeezy would do the right thing, why is he not doing the right thing, counselor?
Black love. This ain't no black love.
This is
That's what you mean. So the answer is I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. So Chaton, I'm gonna toss it to you to fill me in because I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this crazy but hearing that I went to later today. So Chaton, take this one for me.
Okay, so look, we have talked about this couple before. One thing that is clear is that it is, as you indicated, messy. And I'll just say something, Your Honor. You said Jeannie Mai is not laying down for this. And had she not laid down with Jeezy, she probably would not be in this mess. Okay, now let me get back out the gutter because we have all made mistakes about who we decided to lay down with. And I'm just saying, not everybody's business is public, though. But in this case, Jeannie Mai is indicating that there were terms of her divorce that Jeezy was obligated to satisfy, and he's not done it. And the fact that he hasn't done it is causing her hardship because she can't pay the daycare and she can't do this, she can't do that. I mean, I think it's probably unlikely that she really can't pay these bills, but that is not the point. The point is that a court ordered him to do these things and he is non-compliant. Now, people ask themselves, well, like, of course he has to do it. He was ordered to by a court. That is true in theory, and it's true in practice. The problem is that people who are disinclined to comply with court orders can do it and do it all the time. And we were talking about that case with the game. He has a $7 million lawsuit that he was ordered to pay, and it's been like 8 years. So people who are janky, right? And people who are disinclined to do what they're told to do this mess all the time. I applaud Jeannie Mai because here's why. Jeezy was told to pay. This is his kid. These are her expenses. And I say she should take him for whatever she can. And it is not unfair. I don't want to hear anybody, including you, Your Honor, talk about when she got money. It is his responsibility to do this. And so he needs to come up with the money.
Well, listen, I'm going to agree with you, Attorney Turner. This is what I say about it, right? I'm going to say after this big commotion, this big divorce, they built us up to believe that they were in love. They built us up to buy into this family. And then they really, in less than a year, said, listen, all of this crap is false, right? He felt like that he married somebody that he didn't know who he was marrying. And as they were unraveling this marriage, I gotta say that, I couldn't really point one finger at the other of who was the most wrong. However, this type of behavior, and Attorney Symone, I want you to lean in on this. This type of behavior in the court of public opinion is making me turn against him. Why are you not taking care of your child? Like, okay, don't pay the $500,000 because you think that's going to go to Jeannie. Okay, but pay your child's school tuition, pay your child's daycare, pay your child's car, how that child gets around. I mean, choose some things, but don't make the child hurt or like let the child suffer because of your indiscretion when you chose to lay down and marry this woman and make a child with her. Symone Redwine, what say you?
I mean, I agree the child shouldn't suffer, but some in the milk ain't clean here. I want to see Jeezy's response because previously I was really leaning towards her side. And then I realized after reading the court paperwork that, for example, when she was like, oh, he has guns around the child, like her version of the facts weren't quite accurate. How she talked about, oh, well, he injured me, or she implied that he was abusing her. He hurt her. Well, that was like an old golfing incident, blah, blah, blah. My answer is I don't believe all that she's saying. I want to read his answer. I want to read them both together so that we can get down to the true set of the facts, because I don't believe that he is just not doing these really basic and minimal things. But I do believe that it's probably he wants to do it his way, and she wants it done her way.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, Attorney Symone Redwine, I'm very disappointed in that response here in my court of public opinion. I don't care. The child has to go to daycare. The child has to have school tuition. I don't give a flying rat's whatever. If you were told to pay those things at minimum, you don't have to pay the $500,000. You can argue about that. But the things that are related to that child getting to school, that child having daycare, that child having school tuition, there's no excuses for that for me. All right. Whew, got me heated. Got me heated up in here. What?
Well, Attorney Redwine is making a good point. And for those of you who were watching before and noticed,
I don't care. Order in my court. Order in my court. Order in my court.
This is why people be asking why you always hollering at Al. Judge
I know.
Al.
Get used to it. It's not changing. I feel like this. There's nothing you're going to say to make me believe, as the judge of this court, that a man who makes a child should not provide for that child. Daycare is expensive. I don't care if she makes money. If he was ordered by the court to pay the daycare, he should pay the daycare. If he was ordered by the court to pay the school tuition for his child, he should pay it. If the child needs a car to get from A to B, make sure that your child is able to get from A to B. That's just me.
No, I agree. And as somebody who has children, that just resonates in my soul. What I'm saying is that what Attorney Redwine was suggesting that might be more complicated, and this is what I suspect may be happening, he may have paid for some other things, not designating them as these expenses, and she may be trying to hold him accountable for these expenses. That's usually how this gets complicated. Sometimes, not all men, but sometimes men don't like to be told what to do by a court. And so he may have come up for like a birthday
I don't care. What? I got 2 women on ladies' nights, and you're not taking up for the kids. This is blowing my freaking mind. I don't care. If your child's tuition needs to be paid, pay your child's tuition. If your child needs daycare, pay your child's daycare. Like, come on.
This bitch is lying.
You think that she's lying when you're saying that the courts did not order her to have the daycare taken care of?
No, I think she's probably lying with respect to her saying certain things were not taken care of. I don't believe. I do not believe.
So you don't believe. So what you're saying is you don't believe that he hasn't taken care of the daycare.
Correct. I think
he hasn't taken care of the school tuition.
Correct. I think he hasn't done it in the way she wants it done. For example, let me give you an example. There was a husband and wife, and she wanted tuition paid to her. He said, "No, I'm paying it to the school." She said, "Well, I'm not trust that." And so that's an example that I say of someone that's complying, but the argument is how the complying gets done. But in this particular example, part of the reason the marriage ended is because she wanted things done her way and he didn't want to do it that way. So that's all I'm saying as an example.
I'm saying that he was paying for groceries and he's saying, you know what, that equaled the amount of the tuition. So why do I also have to pay for the tuition? Because that's how it gets complicated sometimes too. So
well, that was a Chaton Turner. You're on my bad side today in the court of public opinion. Why would you debate making sure your child is fed? It shouldn't be. It should be. You shouldn't be debating. If your child needs food, if your child order in my court, if your child needs food money, make sure the child gets the food money. If the child needs daycare, make sure the child gets daycare. Now, if you don't want to pay her all this other stuff for these other expenses in life or whatever, that's okay. But anything relating to the child, as a man who made that child, he should take care of it. All right, let's keep it moving before I have an aneurysm in here. Next up, all right, the courts are talking, and the prosecutor wants Alec Baldwin. He wants the charges to be reinstated. All right, Attorney Redwine, talk to us about what's going on with Alec Baldwin, because I thought he had gotten a clear cut away. So the prosecutors have to do what in order to ask the courts to reinstate his charges?
The gist of it is the prosecutors are trying to get a second bite at the apple. They were mad the case got dismissed, and they basically want the case to be reinstated. They are saying that the judge overstepped his bounds. Happens all the time when the prosecution doesn't get what they want. But in this instance, it seems like this is in fact the correct result, because the prosecution, no matter how many times you try the case, can't meet its burden. Specifically, the burden being showing the level of necessary intent that Alec Baldwin intended to kill this woman, or was so negligent or reckless with his conduct that he, caused the passing of this woman. It's also why the charges were initially pressed and then dropped and then pressed and then dropped against him. I know you don't like this, Judge Al, but that's the way it is. Also, people are asking about your curl pattern. If you could address that in the sidebar.
You guys are really messing with me today. Listen, I am, for those who don't know, I am scuba diving these days. And if you don't put your hair in cornrows, this is what your hair looks like when you come out of the ocean from scuba diving. So, yeah, we didn't have time. We didn't have time. It dried on the beach, and I came straight off the beach into the court of public opinion. I apologize, everybody, but I didn't have time to cornrow my hair before scuba diving today. All right, everybody. I'm very upset about this because I feel like Alec Baldwin is not being held to the fire because of his celebrity status. I don't like the fact that that an individual or that family has lost a human life, and all we're basically saying to them, sorry, there's a legal loophole here. The lawyer has figured out this legal loophole. No one's held responsible for killing this innocent director of photography. That just hurts my heart that this family has to suck it up and not have any, no one's taking responsibility for the death of their loved one. And this woman was also a mother. She's someone's daughter. She's someone's cousin, someone's sister, someone's aunt. And for us to just throw her aside and say, okay, legally, Alec Baldwin got off. So sorry, pack your bags and go home.
So, Al, so here's the thing, Your Honor, that I think is important in this Alec Baldwin case. And this is one of the things that makes people hate lawyers. Okay. What's that Shakespearean thing? First thing, kill all the lawyers. You have to separate the micro analysis from the macro issue here, I think. And it's challenging because, to your point, there is a life lost and people want justice. And the technicality that Alec Baldwin got off on had to do with the prosecutors withholding evidence and not playing by the rules. And so everybody wants that kind of justice. And I think the problem is it's not equally doled out for people who are not famous and celebrities. But in truth, the way that this played out with the case getting dismissed against him with prejudice, in my opinion, is actually the right decision because his lawyers were deprived of the ability to prepare a proper defense because they didn't have access to all the evidence, and that was wrong. So the remedy here, it's almost like OJ. Now, people have been debating the OJ trial for decades, but in truth, the OJ trial was rightly decided because the prosecutors didn't play by the rules. And when you allow prosecutors to not play by the rules, it disadvantages anybody who might happen to be accused of a crime.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is there any remedy for this family to get something besides the life insurance that she took out on herself for the death, for her death on a movie set?
They already got it, Al. That's why I told you, you are unreasonable, Your Honor, to want Alec to go to jail. They've got multiple millions.
You know this for a fact, or you just assuming?
I know they received it from the production company's insurance. Yes.
Okay, and how did they receive it?
Cash money. Here's why I'm telling you.
Now, what I'm saying to you is, in what form did they receive it? Did they receive it as a settlement for being shot on the set? How did they receive it? Did they have to sue for it? No. They had to sue for it civilly to get the money? Or did they say, oh, we are Fox Studios. Sorry that your wife got shot on the set. Here's $2 million for the accident.
No, it doesn't work that way. They got paid by the insurance policy. It works like this. Their family said, hey, Fox, we want to sue you if you do not compensate us for the loss of our daughter.
Got it.
They then submit it to the insurance company the same way you do an auto accident. They wrote back and said, here you go, because we don't want this going to a jury. And it is for that reason why you have not seen them going back and forth with the movie theater company, right, in a lawsuit, because they got compensated. And then what happens there is you sign a release that says you're waiving the right to sue individually anyone else that they insure who could be responsible.
So then how are they, if that's the case, how were they allowed to sue Alec Baldwin in the beginning?
Probably because they had not settled it yet.
Something in this milk, something in this milk ain't clean.
I don't think.
But as long as that family got some type of compensation for the death, that accidental death, then I can live with it. But for them to just tell that family, okay, sorry, it happened, but legally we're not responsible. Shoo, I'm not gonna ever like that. Sorry, well, I'm not. I mean, and that's the right that I can have here in the court of public opinion.
It is. I wanted to address something you said. How did he get sued in the first place, or how was he charged for this? He was charged for this because he's the one who pulled the trigger, right? So that's how the charges themselves were assigned to him. Whether or not he's convicted is a different thing, and that's really what the debate is here.
Got it. All right, everybody. Be sure to hit that like button, because the likes ain't liking. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications and jump down in those comments. Breaking news. Jennifer Williams and Christian Gold were in court today, only a week away, if not 7 or 8 days away from their wedding day. And our very own legal beagle, Symone Redwine, happened to be in the court at his sentencing. Symone Redwine, talk to me about what you witnessed today after we look at this clip.
Assuming that litigation is paid for the restitution amount, would you like to put in?
Can I see the clip?
If, for whatever reason, the restitution does not actually get paid for some reason.
Yep. So this is them putting him in handcuffs.
Yeah.
And they're about to tote his behind to the jail. He can't believe it. He's shocked.
Yes, Judge.
What do you think his attorney's telling him?
All right,
It's okay, man. This is a victory, man. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right, man. You're gonna be all right.
Okay, bailiff, thank you. So let me ask you, Symone Redwine. Let me ask you a couple of questions here as it relates to this court hearing. All right. He got 30 days.
Correct.
Correct.
Basically, he was given over the course of 30 days, he's going to serve 15 of them. And he was immediately taken into custody, but there was a compromise. The judge is going to allow him to come out of jail, go to his wedding, and then come back, serve the rest of the time. And secondly, the judge has not allowed him to get off probation early, which is another part of the request. Instead, she's keeping him on probation for another year.
And what was this conviction for?
This was for false imprisonment. Basically, he locked his girlfriend in on the balcony of an apartment they shared together after an argument. He took her keys, he took her cell phone, he prevented her from calling for help, and she was stuck there overnight, and such that her only mode of escaping after multiple attempts of trying to get neighbors' attention and so forth was jumping from the 4th floor balcony, in which she broke both of her ankles, her legs, has a rod in her back, and was limited to a wheelchair for 3 months, losing her job, employment, and more.
All right. Now, is this the $250,000 restitution that he's talking about? Is that what this money is that's owed to her?
So that was a bold-faced lie. It was actually $12,500 that was owed to her. He made a $150 payment July the 24th. And then subsequent to that, he finally paid off the balance, which the court stated was $9,000 and some change. So all of this time, this $6 million net worth man couldn't seem to come up with $9,000 and some change to get his butt off of probation.
Wow. Okay, so let me ask the next question. What was Jennifer's demeanor like in court today?
Bailiff, if you've got the video, I did send you. I had permission to film. I had an order to film, and I got some footage. Her demeanor was, she looked like a disappointed second wife, stoic, stoic, like, oh God, not again, white collar crime. Kind of, she had the white collar crime, maiden look. Cute little bun. Her outfit was adorable. I talked about, she had, I don't know what kind of lotion it was, maybe baby oil gel. Her legs looked amazing, per usual. But she was pretty solemn. There was one really weird point where his Gmail lawyer, yes, his lawyer has a Gmail address and uses that to communicate with the court. His Gmail lawyer actually introduced her to the court by saying, yes, Your Honor, we are here seeking a pass for him to attend his wedding. His beautiful fiance is here. Jennifer Williams, would you stand up for the court?
Did she stand up? Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Like now, Price is right. Wow. She stood and she did a little wave. She had a little wave. Look how cute she looks. Okay, seriously, look how cute. Look how cute. Now, these are his relatives in the front row.
She looks like she's on the usher board at
Jesus loves me, this I know. For the best.
All right, so let me ask you this, though. This is where I'm concerned, right? I Jennifer and I used to be very close. I know that Jennifer is a hopeless romantic. She's loves the whole kind of wanting to be in love. She's finding herself in these type of situations over and over. But I just want to ask this question. Didn't she just do a special about fraudulent men? Because the guy before this was the one that stole her Range Rover that she was in a relationship with. Am I understanding this correct, Attorney Redwine?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm confused. I'm confused at how you just did a special on teaching women how to see the signs of when they're being frauded. However, you're back in another what appears to be fraudulent situation, because not even talking about what this court appearance is about. Let's talk about all of his clients in this money managing business that he's in that are now saying that they were duped. You interviewed one of them yourself. Talk to us about that.
Right. So I have personally reviewed over 22 FBI complaints and personal stories from people who feel that they were scammed from him. The gist of it is he took their money, claimed to invest it, claimed to give these crazy high returns. And in the end, not only did they not see the returns, but when the payday came, he kept postponing it. Some of them, their payday was supposed to be this past January, and then he didn't have the money and moved it to February and May, and then March, and then May. And then when he didn't pay in May, August rolls around and he says, "Oh, sorry, guys, the stock market went down and I lost everybody's money." That's not how it works. So now these people had filed complaints with the FBI, and the FBI is, in fact, investigating this. But here's why I say today was a victory for both sides. One,
Okay.
Jennifer and Christian get to have their wedding, a wedding that has already been sold to a network. They're going to get their 6-figure payoff. And so now that's money that could be available to make these victims whole. Hey, here's the thing. Our goal is not, I'm pro bono helping some of these victims, right? The goal is not for him to get locked up. The goal is just to get them their money back. So if that means with this money, because they're going over, he has permission to travel, that he'll be able to pay them back, that is a victory for everyone. And that's what we're hoping. I can say this, he has already begun to negotiate payment plans with some of his victims to give them money. To my knowledge, it doesn't include any of the interest, but at least it's getting them back some of the initial monies. And that is a great start, Christian. I hope you do the right thing and give these victims back their money.
Where is he going to get the money from?
Perhaps this wedding special that's sold? I don't know.
It would seem to me that you would take, I think she said the wedding is going to take $250,000. Why not postpone your wedding, take the $250,000 and pay these people off to get people out of your business?
And
right?
Get the FBI
and then just get married later, because you're going to get paid anyway for your marriage. Get married later so that you would have money.
Because that makes too much sense. We're not dealing with sensible people here. If they had sense, he would have paid his restitution of $9,000 and change balance off prior to traveling to Europe without permission. But they don't have good sense. And so this is the foolishness that we are now entertained by.
He may have sold that $1,000 sweater and made progress on the, I'm just saying, or hock the ring. I mean, I think that we have to think about this long term. Like, I'm a sucker for love despite my own situation, right? This, though, is a bit tainted because this involves the gamesmanship of marriage and love. So the reason they're not doing the $250,000, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but one explanation, right, is that they want to use their celebrity to advance future earning potential. And they're more focused on that than they are on either whether this love is true and in making restitution to the victims. And so by doing the show, as opposed to just paying them the $250,000, they get to advance their own careers, keep themselves in the public zeitgeist or whatever, and also get some money for the victims. So this is all about, look at me.
Wow. I guess I'm on one tonight because it just upsets me that innocent people who believed in him gave their hard-earned money only to be scammed. And now they're like the 23 people that are being investigated by the FBI now are out of their money, and they only are hoping to get it back. You may be negotiating a plan, but can you imagine if someone stole money from me and I had to watch on television them doing this lavish wedding in Paris? I think I would feel some kind of way. Am I the one tripping here? Am I tripping?
I got some additional tea for you, Judge. Y'all head over to my channel, which is called Girl, Is That Legal? Yesterday, I interviewed Christian's baby's mom of his 2 toddler children. These children are 2 and 1 years old. And do you know why this man has been gallivanting on national TV doing this, that, and the third? These children have been on food stamps and welfare. Food stamps and welfare. Yes. While their stepmama is driving a roll.
That could help Jeannie Mai. Yeah, Jeannie, if you're listening, go down to the county and see if you can get some food stamps too until Jeezy comes up. Okay. Sorry about that.
All right, what's going on in my courtroom? I think y'all had too much to drink or something. What is going on?
I didn't have enough.
Courtroom. What is going on in this courtroom? I just hate that the victims have to watch this. To me, it's almost like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm able to do whatever I want to do, and you're gonna have to watch me do it. I personally, it would be a problem for me because it would appear to me that those victims need their money. And you need to be paying the victims their money before you gallivant off to Paris and have this extreme, because you know it's going to be beautiful. Everything Jennifer does is beautiful. You know it's going to be off the chains. And for a victim to have to watch that, knowing that they probably can't pay their phone bill or pay their child care because of money that he stole from them, I don't think it's right.
And not only that, but one of the victim impact letters that I submitted was one of Christian's own relatives. Okay. He scammed he allegedly, pursuant to this FBI complaint that was filed under penalty of perjury, took over $30,000 from this man. Okay. So this is what you do to your family. Look, I can say this one thing about this wedding. They might have it, but there's going to be an awkward tension in the air because I bet your bottom dollar there are going to be some people that are over there. They're going to be looking at him with the side eye because if you really love Jennifer, you don't want her to do this. But if she's going to do it, you want to support and love her through it. So I'd be over there. It would be some unspoken tension in that air, baby, in that Parisian air.
Well, Simone, I got to ask you a question. I'm going to go a little bit out of pocket and ask you a personal question.
Okay, I tell my business all the time.
I'm sitting over here thinking that I must not know what love is because there is no way that I would be marrying this man under these circumstances. What's going on with Jennifer? Do you know what love is?
So there are different theories. Someone has asked, is she on the spectrum? I don't know that is the case, but I feel like she's just so committed. She wants to be right. She doesn't want to be happy. See, we all know someone like that in their life. And their life, when you really look down deep into it, it looks like a hot ass mess because they're so focused on being right and they don't focus on what gets them happiness. Because the truth of the matter is this. The man, she is deciding to have a man lead her household who knew good and well he was on probation, who knew he did not have permission to travel and allowed them together to plan an international wedding. Therefore, he will never have a day of peace with a man this dumb. Good luck to them or not.
This is just, I don't know why. Maybe that's why we're so engulfed in this. It's like, it's not making sense. You know, Jennifer's supposed to be smart. She's beautiful. It appears that she can have anybody she wants. I don't know. All right, we're going to go to our gifts. I want to thank the people who gave us a gift that is Gifted 5 Girl is that legal membership. All right. And then let's go to the questions. This is the part of the show that we answer your questions that you have as it relates to the stories that we covered. All right. Sister 71, thank you so much for that super chat. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right. Next up, Fable says the court of public opinion. Is that a joke? Nope, that's not a joke. That's what we're doing here. We give you the court of public opinion's opinion on these cases. Just like legally, you know, Alec Baldwin didn't do anything wrong, allegedly. For me, in the court of public opinion, I think there's to be some responsibility for killing and shooting somebody's mother. Next up, BLS1 Aries says, Al, as her friend, are you planning to have a conversation about this? So I think Jennifer and I are not as friendly as we used to, but it's very hard to have a conversation with someone who's committed to this at this level. She's committed. So anything that I say to her, and trust me, all of her friends have had conversations with her, not in concern of what Christian is doing, but about her specifically because we love her. But it appears to me that she's committed. You can talk till the cows come home. I don't think that you could do anything short of showing her that he killed someone that's going to stop her on this love train to the altar. So that's just my opinion. Jay Thompson, does Jennifer still wear colored contacts? All right, Jay Thompson, that was shady. I'm not sure. Simone, what did you see in the courtroom today?
They ran away from me. They wouldn't let me that close. And in fact, when I tried to like get closer to get better photos, just to highlight the beauty of her outfit, the auntie that hates me, Auntie Lauren, that's her name, Lauren. Hey, Auntie. She stalks me too. She was like, get her. It's like,
did you go by yourself?
No, technically no. Mims was there to protect me, make it make sense. But he was there dressed like an international drug lord. He literally sat in the courtroom with these like Versace shades on, Versace shirt, Versace jeans. I was like, ooh, you look like you could really move some weight there, buddy.
You YouTubers are something else. All right. IBDASHID said, y'all think the victims will get their money back? What do you think, Symone? You said you're working with a couple of them pro bono.
Right. I have personally seen that he has, without giving more detail, that he has executed payment arrangement agreements with people. So to me, that's a good faith effort that he's trying. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm going to hope that he's going to do the right thing now that they're going to have this wedding and get this wedding sold, because I think that it was very telling that there were no cameras there from their wedding series. That makes me believe that the only way the series would be able to continue would be if he was permitted to attend the wedding. So that gives me hope that maybe all the money hasn't already been spent, that another check.
But he's made an agreement, right? And so going to the courts to ask for permission to go to Paris, he's saying, look, I have created an agreement to promise to pay them back. These are the agreements. They've signed them. So therefore, I should be allowed to go to court. All right, I see that. Takia Henderson says, how can he have a passport and he's a felon?
Great question. Felons can have passports because felons are permitted to travel internationally. Now, the problem is actually not on the American side with leaving. The issue is the other country even going to let you in?
Right.
Yeah. And so that is a case-by-case scenario. And in this situation, what they generally do is they go by the date of the conviction. And when the conviction is 10 years old, they don't really care about it. Here, his conviction was like 2014, 2015. So that's really right about that 10-year mark. So I believe that is also why, and because he was going to Europe, they have the—
and also it's right. It's also the conditions, right? So it's a destination wedding. So the expectation is that he would be in and out. I wonder where they're going on their honeymoon. Will they be able to honeymoon? Or does he have to
allowing him to stay the whole time? I thought it was insane that his attorney asked for permission to not just be there for the wedding, but also the honeymoon. But hey, if you don't ask, you don't get a yes. So yes, right. He has to come back after the honeymoon and go back to jail.
Jay Thompson. Oh, here comes Jay Thompson shade. I wonder what name is on the passport. He has at least 2. Ooh. Y'all are giving it to him.
You see this comment that Chandra made, that if a felon can run for president, a felon can have a passport?
Hey! All right. Okay, there you go. All right, next up, Express Han said, when has she ever been labeled as smart? Oh, y'all are well, she's a successful businesswoman. She's been able to stay on a very popular reality show for over 10 years. I mean, you got to be clever. Can we use the word clever? Express Han, Express Sean, or Express Han? Clever, maybe, if you didn't like the word smart. All right, Abby NYC, the MM family says, do you think someone will stand up? Do you think someone will stand up during the vows on the "does anyone disagree" line?
I love you guys.
Redwine. Yeah, don't invite Symone.
Don't invite Symone because she's gonna be there recording it.
This is a bad idea, ladies and gentlemen, Your Honor.
All right, Liberia Rose, is Jen a Fed? How many of her partners have gone to jail or prison? If so, good for her. That's so interesting. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of these comments in the posts that anybody that's been with those many guys that have had run-ins with the law and doing this type of thing, they're asking, maybe this is what she likes. Maybe this is something that she knows about and she's okay with it. Maybe she's a part of it. That is some of the accusations that are being made in the comments. All right, everybody, thank you so much for your comments. This is the part of the show where we, the judge, and our 2 legal beagles will give you a verdict. First up, is the father guilty or not guilty for negligence for allowing the son to have a gun, and should he be held accountable for all these counts and charges, which could lead up to 181 years in prison? Attorney Symone Redwine, what say you?
Guilty.
All right, guilty. Chaton Turner, is he guilty or not guilty?
He's guilty.
All right, in the court of public opinion, I'm Al, the judge, and we're going to find that father guilty. Guilty is charged. No 14-year-old should be carrying a gun to school, and definitely not a shotgun with bullets and shooting anybody. Guilty is charged. Sorry, sir. You're just going to suck this one up. Next up, is Jeezy guilty or not guilty of not providing for their beautiful little daughter? Attorney Redwine, what say you?
Not guilty.
All right, Chaton Turner, what say you?
I need more information, but I'm going to side with Jeannie Mai on this one. You know, he's guilty. Yeah, they're all guilty.
I'm gonna need both of my female attorneys on ladies' night to go get a CAT scan on your heads. He is guilty. I'm going to find him guilty, and I'm only going to find him guilty for not making sure that his daughter is being taken care of. Now, if it was a payment for the house, or if it was a payment for her cost of living, I can understand him wanting to argue that. I feel like there's no space for argument for paying for your child's daycare, ever. There's no space or argument for you paying for your child's school tuition, ever. There should be no reason for you to push back on your child having a safe car to ride back and forth, to get back and forth to school and home. That's my opinion. Jeezy, I find you guilty. All right, next up, Alec Baldwin. Is he guilty or not guilty for taking that lady's life? Attorney Chaton Turner, what say you?
So Alec Baldwin is not guilty, but I wanted to make sure that the audience did know, to your point about somebody being found guilty, two of the people who were involved were actually found guilty of involuntary manslaughter based on this crime. So it's not that the family has gotten no relief. It's just that Alec Baldwin's case was dismissed. Got it. Attorney Symone Redwine?
Not guilty.
All right. I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in the court of public opinion, and I'm going to find him guilty. Guilty as charged. I think he has too much experience. He's been an executive producer. He's been a director. He's done all the jobs on that set. And the one thing he could have done at minimum was to check that gun before he fired it. Because he didn't, somebody's mother, sister, cousin, wife is now dead. All right, last up, I don't know who's guilty and who's not guilty. Is Jennifer Williams guilty for being in love and Christian Gold guilty for committing crimes? Attorney Symone Redwine, what say you?
They both guilty, and Jennifer's guilty of being stupid.
Oh, jeez. Attorney Chaton Turner, what say you?
If stupidity is on trial, then I think, yeah, she's guilty.
All right, and how about Christian Gold? Is he guilty or not guilty for being a criminal?
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think that was up for debate, but yeah. He's guilty.
I see that food stamp. Baby.
Is that a food stamp?
It is.
All right, this is Al Reynolds, and I'm your judge in the court of public opinion. And I'm going to find both of them guilty. Guilty of being in love, guilty of being blind to the law, guilty across the board. I think Jennifer is a hopeless romantic. I think that she's sticking by her man. And it is what it is. And I think he is definitely guilty for some type of indiscretion, because if he wasn't, he wouldn't be working out payment arrangements. All right, everybody. That concludes tonight.
Wait.
Yes.
Just a sidebar, important point. I think they poured for real. Put that picture back up. Bailiff, put that picture back up there.
Which one?
They poured for real of him in the sweater, him and her in the sweater.
Why?
Because that's the same sweater he had on in court today. He got arrested in that same sweater. That bird up with the birds and everything. He got white jacket.
He is not poor. He's worth $6 million.
Maybe
he makes a lot of money. He's very wealthy. What are you talking about?
Oh,
it's his favorite.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe he sold everything else to start paying those victims. Yes, and paying that restitution.
I can't do it. All right, everybody. This concludes today's session in the Court of Public Opinion. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're subscribed, hit that share button. Also, turn on your notifications. And thank you for participating in today's Court of Public Opinion. Court is now adjourned.